Oh my goodness, don't move. I need y'all to stay and listen to this video. Especially if you're hung up on the Bible and stuff like that. This is the closest thing that I've came to that my spiritual guides and my higher self, and it just makes sense. And you know how a lot of things were tainted, like the Bible and all of that, whatnot, whatever. So yes, for all my Christian folks out there, I hope you've heard about this, because for me, this is legit. What we're going through, this right here is legit when it comes to religion, if you ask me. All right, let's watch together. Look who's joining.
Welcome to today's video, where we'll be exploring something deeply fascinating, something that has intrigued spiritual seekers for centuries. Have you ever wondered how the mysteries of Christianity are connected with deeper, hidden knowledge that many have yet to uncover? In this video, we will take you through the full story of esoteric Christianity, a realm of Christian teachings that goes far beyond the surface. This isn't about traditional religious beliefs. It's about a profound understanding that can transform how you see the world and your place in it. Many people are unaware that Christianity, as we know it today, holds a vast treasure of esoteric wisdom, teachings passed down secretly, often hidden in plain sight. Today, we're going to uncover these secrets and show you why understanding them is crucial for anyone on a spiritual path. If you're someone who's curious about the deeper meanings of life, spiritual enlightenment, esoteric Christianity is a term that many may not be familiar with, but it's something that has been quietly shaping the spiritual journey of countless individuals for centuries. At its core, esoteric Christianity is a mystical and hidden aspect of the Christian faith. It focuses on the deeper, symbolic meanings behind the teachings of Christ and the Bible, rather than just the literal interpretation that most people are accustomed to. While traditional Christianity emphasizes external worship and practices, esoteric Christianity invites individuals to look within, to experience a personal, transformative connection with the divine. This branch of Christianity views Jesus Christ not just as a historical figure, but as a symbol of the divine within all of us, someone who embodies the path to spiritual enlightenment. It teaches that Christ's message goes far beyond salvation in a physical sense. Instead, it speaks to the awakening of our inner consciousness and the realization of the divine presence in our own lives. Esoteric Christians believe that the Bible itself is not just a book of stories, but a map to understanding the hidden mysteries of the universe and our own soul. In esoteric Christianity, spiritual growth is seen as a process of awakening to the deeper truths of existence. It's about learning to transcend the material world and connect with the divine wisdom that exists within us all. This tradition doesn't just rely on faith alone, but also on direct spiritual experiences, which could come through meditation, prayer, or other mystical practices. It's a path that involves both the mind and the spirit, seeking to integrate these insights into everyday life in order to live in alignment with higher spiritual truths. The teachings of esoteric Christianity have often been kept hidden, passed down through initiates and secret societies. However, over the years, more and more people have started to uncover these teachings and apply them to their own spiritual journeys. As you continue on this path, you'll begin to see that esoteric Christianity is not just a set of doctrines or dogmas. It's an experiential and transformative way of engaging with the Christian faith. One that invites individuals to explore the inner depths of their own being and their connection to the divine. The historical roots of esoteric Christianity are deep and complex, reaching back to the earliest days of Christianity, when the teachings of Jesus Christ were spread across the world. But long before Christianity became institutionalized, there existed a tradition of secret wisdom, often referred to as the mystery teachings. These teachings were passed down through select groups of early Christians who believed that the true, Hidden meanings of Jesus' words were not meant for everyone, but only for those who were spiritually ready to receive them. In the first few centuries after the death of Christ, many early Christians were influenced by mystical traditions, including Gnosticism, which emphasized personal spiritual knowledge and the idea that salvation came through inner enlightenment rather than external rituals. Gnostics believed that the material world was a prison, and true freedom could only be achieved by awakening the divine spark within. They saw the teachings of Jesus as a guide to unlocking that inner wisdom, and in many ways, Gnosticism laid the foundation for what would later become esoteric Christianity. However, as Christianity became more organized, particularly with the establishment of the Roman Catholic Church, many of these esoteric ideas were deemed heretical and suppressed. Official doctrine was shaped around more literal interpretations of Scripture, and those who promoted mystical or esoteric teachings were often silenced. Yet, despite this suppression, the core of esoteric Christianity survived, hidden within the teachings of certain mystics and saints, and through secret societies that carried on these ancient traditions. One of the most significant figures in the development of esoteric Christianity was Origen, a theologian in the early Christian church, who was one of the first to teach that the Bible contained both a literal and a deeper symbolic meaning. He believed that only those who were spiritually mature could understand the hidden meanings of the Scriptures, and he saw Christianity as a path to personal transformation, rather than just a set of beliefs. Origen's ideas laid the groundwork for many of the esoteric teachings that would follow. As the centuries passed, other mystical Christians, like the Desert Fathers, continued to explore the inner, transformative aspects of the Christian faith. Their teachings focused on asceticism, prayer, and meditation as ways to awaken to divine truths. They believed that the kingdom of God was not a place to be found externally, but a state of being that could be realized through personal spiritual practice. Throughout the medieval period, the concept of esoteric knowledge continued to evolve, as Christian mystics such as Meister Eckhart and John of the Cross explored deep spiritual themes of union with God and the purification of the soul. During this time, secret societies like the Knights Templar and later the Rosicrucians carried on the esoteric traditions, often blending Christian teachings with elements of alchemy, astrology, and other mystical practices. In the modern era, the rise of movements like Theosophy and the New Age movement brought esoteric Christianity back into the public eye. These movements embraced the idea that Christianity contained hidden, spiritual truths that could guide individuals to higher consciousness and enlightenment. Figures like Helena Blavatsky and Rudolf Steiner helped popularize esoteric teachings, linking them with broader spiritual traditions. Today, esoteric Christianity is not just a historical curiosity, but a living tradition, with spiritual seekers and mystics around the world continuing to explore the deeper, hidden aspects of Christianity. These teachings are now more accessible than ever before, as more and more people begin to recognize that the true essence of Christianity lies not in external rituals, but in an inner, transformative journey towards spiritual awakening. By understanding the historical roots of esoteric Christianity, we begin to see that its teachings were not just a fringe aspect of Christianity, but an integral part of the early Christian experience. And by rediscovering these teachings, we open ourselves up to a richer, deeper connection with the divine. Hold
on. Sorry, my Prime Video is low.
One that transcends the limitations of traditional religious practices and leads to true spiritual liberation. Symbols play an incredibly important role in esoteric Christianity. They are not just simple representations of religious concepts, but powerful tools of spiritual transformation. In esoteric Christianity, symbols are seen as a bridge between the material world and the spiritual realm. They are a way for individuals to connect with higher truths that go beyond the surface level. Each symbol carries a deeper meaning. a hidden wisdom that can only be understood through spiritual insight and inner awakening. One of the most well-known symbols in Christianity is the cross. Traditionally, the cross represents the sacrifice of Jesus, but in esoteric Christianity, the cross holds much more significance. It represents the intersection of the physical and spiritual worlds. The horizontal line of the cross symbolizes the material world, while the vertical line represents the divine, the connection between heaven and earth. It is through the cross that spiritual seekers are invited to transcend their earthly limitations and reach a higher state of consciousness. For esoteric Christians, the cross is a symbol of transformation, the death of the ego, and the rebirth of the soul. Another key symbol is the fish, which has deep roots in early Christianity. While many recognize the fish as a symbol of Jesus' ministry in esoteric Christianity, it represents the inner journey of spiritual awakening. The fish is often seen as a symbol of Christ's divine knowledge. It's also a symbol of the soul, swimming through the waters of life, seeking to rise above the material world and achieve spiritual enlightenment. The fish symbolizes the hidden truths that lie beneath the surface of ordinary life, truths that can only be revealed through inner reflection and spiritual practice. The Eucharist, or the act of communion, is also a powerful symbol in esoteric Christianity. While in mainstream Christianity, the Eucharist represents the body and blood of Christ. In esoteric Christianity, it is seen as a symbol of spiritual nourishment. It represents the deeper, hidden truths of Christ's teachings, which can only be absorbed through a personal, mystical experience. When esoteric Christians partake in the Eucharist, they are not just remembering Jesus' sacrifice. They are connecting with the divine energies that flow through all things. They are nourishing their soul with the higher knowledge that Christ represents. Baptism is another important symbol. In traditional Christianity, baptism is seen as a rite of initiation. But in esoteric Christianity, baptism represents the purification of the soul. It is a spiritual cleansing, a process of washing away the ego and the attachments to the material world. It is through baptism that one begins the process of awakening, entering into a new state of being, spiritually reborn and aligned with the divine. Sacred geometry is also an essential part of esoteric Christianity. It includes the use of shapes and patterns that are believed to reflect the underlying structure of the universe. For instance, the flower of life, the Vesica Piscis, and the golden ratio are all seen as symbols of divine harmony and unity. These patterns are not just mathematical concepts, but are also seen as representations of divine principles, reflecting the order and balance of the spiritual world. By contemplating these symbols, esoteric Christians believe that they can tap into the deeper truths of existence and experience a sense of oneness with the universe. These symbols serve as keys to unlocking hidden knowledge, each one carrying a specific spiritual lesson. Whether it's the cross, the fish, the Eucharist, or sacred geometry, each symbol holds a unique power to guide the seeker toward greater spiritual awareness and understanding. Through these symbols, the practitioner can begin to understand the mysteries of existence, the nature of the soul, and the path toward divine enlightenment. In esoteric Christianity, symbols are not just for decoration or ritual. They are for transformation. They invite the individual to go beyond the material world and explore the deeper spiritual truths that lie hidden beneath the surface. They provide a language that speaks directly to the soul, bypassing the limitations of the rational mind and opening up new pathways to spiritual awakening and divine understanding through these sacred symbols. The seeker is guided along a journey of personal transformation, helping them move from ignorance to knowledge, from darkness to light, and ultimately from separation to unity with the divine. Esoteric Christianity has always been about a search for deeper, divine knowledge, a journey that goes beyond the surface level of religious teachings and rituals. It's a path of discovery, one that invites spiritual seekers to explore the hidden truths about the nature of existence, the soul, and the divine. In esoteric Christianity, knowledge is not simply something to be learned with the mind, but something to be experienced with the heart and soul. It's a knowledge that transforms the individual, awakening them to the presence of the divine within themselves and in the world around them. The search for divine knowledge in esoteric Christianity is seen as a deeply personal journey, one that cannot be taught or given by anyone else. It is something that must be uncovered through personal experience and inner awakening. The Bible, while important, is not the only source of this divine knowledge. Instead, it is viewed as a guide, a map to lead the seeker towards a greater understanding of the spiritual truths that lie hidden beneath the surface of everyday life. It is through meditation, contemplation, and inner reflection that one begins to tap into these deeper layers of truth. Esoteric Christianity teaches that the divine is not distant or separate from us, but it resides within all of us. The search for divine knowledge, therefore, is not about finding something outside of ourselves, but about discovering the hidden wisdom within. It's about awakening to the divine spark that exists in the deepest parts of our being. This divine knowledge is not something that can be grasped with the intellect alone, but is revealed through spiritual practice, such as prayer, fasting, or other forms of inner work. These practices help to clear the mind, open the heart, and prepare the soul to receive higher knowledge from the divine source. A key concept in esoteric Christianity is the idea of gnosis, which is often translated as knowledge, but in the esoteric tradition, it refers to a deep, experiential knowing, a direct encounter with the divine. Gnosis is not just intellectual knowledge, but a profound inner transformation that occurs when the seeker comes into direct contact with divine wisdom. It is through gnosis that one begins to understand the mysteries of existence, the true nature of the soul, and the divine plan that is unfolding in our lives. This search for divine knowledge is often seen as a quest for enlightenment, a state in which the seeker experiences unity with the divine, free from the limitations of the ego and the material world. It is a state of perfect awareness, where the individual sees beyond the illusions of the physical world and perceives the deeper spiritual realities that govern existence. This enlightenment is not a one-time event, but a continuous process, one that unfolds over time as the seeker becomes more attuned to the divine presence within and around them. In the
Okay, I will put the full video on my page. Hold on, give me a second.
Merging with OpenAI, formed with the mission of figuring out how to create a family of devices.
Okay, I'm back.
The tradition of esoteric Christianity, this search for divine knowledge is also...
Okay. The full video will be on my playlist. I will have it separate from everything else. It is there. You can go watch it. As you can see, you know, I'm lifing. So can't necessarily sit here and just play the whole video, as well as my YouTube Prime has ended, I guess, and it didn't yet. So, as well as, I'm sure you've been hearing a little bit in the background, my little chunky butt pass some gas. But anyway, alright, it's nothing but energy. My spiritual team always says, don't even worry about that. Don't worry about blocking out my little ones from the videos, because it's good energy for you guys and myself. So with that being said, check out my playlist, and this is some real stuff. Alright. Gotta go life. Hope y'all go life too, but make sure you stay positive, stay in that good energy, understand that it is okay if you know, right here, hi, say hi, visit. It is okay if you are having a bad time, bad day, part of your day. Feel it, go through it, don't dwell in it, and keep positive thoughts while you're in your head. Make sure you're not saying, of course, this would happen and da-da-da-da. Try to say, this must be happening for a reason. Better things are coming. This is helping the better part of my life unfold. That being said, peace, not peace, that's war. Peace.